Hi, how's everybody doing today? Clint the Audio Guy here. Just wanted to show you a new project that I'm up to. Um, for years and years, I've been listening to and selling uh, speakers that are available commercially on the retail market. And I've always been curious about what it would be if I designed my own. So I figured, why not? Let's do it. And so I've inspired by several designs, but they're not your typical speaker. And most companies try to make something that looks good, but they're always building to a price point, and they're trying to keep the cost of things you don't see down. And that's one thing I like about Totem Acoustic, is that the things you don't see are actually some of the most expensive components they put in them, like the capacitors and resistors and inductors in the crossover parts, especially the capacitors. They don't cheap out on binding posts, internal wiring, that kind of stuff. So the speaker just sounds right, and nobody really knows why, but it's because they put the little extras. They don't cut the corners like a lot of companies do. You can go into some really high-end designs, and they have sandcast resistors and iron core inductors and stuff. You know, parts that make a sonic difference. So anyway, I'm going for great parts in the crossovers. Want to go a level up. I don't have any crossover parts here yet, but that's the plan. I'm going to order some good stuff, let's say, better than what most companies have, just for the mock-up situation. And then as I figure out how to tune the crossover and finalize the design, then I'm going to order the really good parts and put them in this design. So I mocked up a cardboard box, just a cardboard enclosure, last night, just to see what the drivers would look like in them, and see if I like the shape and size. This is actually, I designed this with using the golden ratio. So, if you had a theater room and you could, or an audio listening room, and you could make the perfect dimensions, it would be this. Like, picture this is the floor, this is the ceiling, this is the front wall. This is the golden ratio. So this side is 1.618 times the length of this side. This side is 1.81 times the side, or 1.618 times the length of this, and it's exactly the volume that I need for this woofer to tune it to the frequency that I'm looking for in a ported enclosure. So I wanted high sensitivity, and not terribly high sensitivity. I want it to be able to be driven off a tube amp, but that's not, it doesn't have to be exclusively. I'm not going for 96 dB or 98 or 100 or anything like that. Somewhere around 91, 92 dB. It's going to be a 4-ohm design, because anybody that's going to play the speaker of this level, it shouldn't be put on a receiver anyway. It's got to be put on a decent amplifier. It's going to be a hi-fi speaker. I knew I wanted paper cones, so paper just sounds right. It's also light enough and internal damping enough that it can come up closer to the mid-range, because an 8-inch woofer is hard to cross over to a tweeter, a 1-inch tweeter, because it has cone breakup much as it gets close to 2,000 hertz. So a very lightweight cone was needed. These have some cast baskets on them and some really big magnets, but not too heavy of a voice coil. I think it's a 1.75 inch voice coil. Not too heavy of a voice coil that it needs tons of power and it's heavy and slow to move. So I still wanted a driver that, for an 8, could play mid-range better than just about any 8-inch out there. So I looked through, I don't know, about 100 drivers or so, and these ones grabbed me. Also on the tweeter, these have a really big magnet assembly on them. I knew I wanted silk dome tweeter. It's got a really big chamber in the back. This tweeter has a very low FS point, so it's like 400 and I'll just look here, 415 hertz, so very low FS. So this tweeter will play very low and have low crossover points, which is key in what I'm doing here. I wanted to be able to cross them over low so the 8 won't have to get up into that cone breakup range. I got some binding posts here, just something for mock-up, you know. It's not, of course, the final design or anything, but I'm gonna find a new nut there. I think that's a steel nut. It's got some ferrous metal in it, so I gotta go find another nut, but the rest of it should work just fine. But anyway, that's what I'm working on. New project. Should be fun. This may or may not be the final dimensions. This is actually the size of this is the interior volume of the box. So the box will be bigger by the thickness of the material that we used to build it. But anyway, if you have any ideas for me, let me know. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.